Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua Santos, and I'm truly honored to bring on one of my mentors on this interview by the name of Ray Higdon. Now, if you have not yet heard of Ray Higdon, let me give you a very quick overview of what he's done, what he's accomplished throughout the years. He is the number one earner in his primary business, direct selling and network marketing business, averages over 2 million hits a month on his blog. He is an L5 leader in MLSP, which stands for My Lead System Pro, the largest attraction marketing platform for network marketers, founder of Pro Blog Academy, and last but not least, an internationally sought after speaker and coach. Ray Higdon, are you there?
I'm here. What's going on?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being on this interview, for taking the time early in the morning to come on this interview. It's definitely an honor, and I truly appreciate it. So I wanted to run by your story. What brought you into the network marketing industry? Who are you, and why is it that you decided to get into the network marketing industry and cause all this what you've done so far?
Yeah, there's a couple parts to that. I had left corporate America, and I had been doing real estate as a real estate investor. And one of my friends back in 2006 had joined a network marketing company. He's like, "Oh, Ray, you got to get in this. You got to get in this. It's huge. It's blah blah blah." And I never really had an interest in it, but because I respected him and I liked him, I decided, I'm like, all right, I'll join, but I'm never going to do it as a business. I'm focused on real estate. And so, of course, he got me to go to some meetings, and I went to some meetings, and I realized that, here I was in real estate, buying rental properties, wanting to get, cash flow and wanting to make passive income. And network marketing was just a lower risk way to create passive income. And so, I thought that was pretty cool. So I went at it as a business, kind of part time. Didn't know what I was doing. Had no idea, how to really build a team or a business or anything. And so I made a little bit of money, but nothing that lasted. I got out of that company and tried a whole bunch of different ones. And I would say kind of the second phase of my network marketing was July of 2009. I had got completely wiped out by real estate.
Hmm.
And July of '09, I just decided, I'm like, all right, I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to learn this craft, and I'm going to go at this as a career rather than just a business or part-time thing. And since then, the rest has been history. It's been awesome, completely life changing.
Wow, that's definitely incredible. So, what was it that really pushed you to keep going at this? I know there were some other aspects in your story where you shared before, where you kind of hit rock bottom and you had to decide as well. What was it that that was important in your life, and how it was that you were going to change it? Can you talk a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, I wanted to be something that I currently wasn't, and it. I had been through about a year of just being and just depression, of being beaten up, and from losing everything, from making a lot of money to not making anything, and in personal foreclosure, and life just really sucked. And I wanted to not just make some money, not just build a business, but I wanted to be someone that that inspired me, that I felt lived up to my potential. And so I just took the massive action to become a top earner in this industry. Took the massive action to constantly work on myself and get better. And and that's what I did. It was no, and I see a lot of people that they're where I was, and they're maybe depressed, maybe they're dead broke, maybe they've lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that they believe that they're going to somehow have this major epiphany, and all of a sudden everything's going to become easier. And I just don't think that that's the case. I don't think you can sit back and think yourself into the right mindset to build the business. I just went into massive action. And, yes, I had to think to get into massive action, but I got into massive action because the thing is, if you're not in action, then you're going to continue to evaluate your results and be unhappy with them. But if you go into crazy action where you don't have time to think about how bad things are, then you can start creating results and start celebrating those results and then stay in massive action to create momentum.
Exactly. That's a very good tip, actually. There were times before where I would look back and, oh, I didn't talk to this person, or three people said no to me today, and my whole day revolved around these three people. And you yourself, and among a lot of people, just kept saying, create more momentum, more action, so that the no's are insignificant and
Right.
they don't matter anymore. So I just wanted to ask you, after that, what was your biggest challenge when you started your business online?
Technical for sure. I've always struggled with technology, and I think, the big difference was I used to, if I spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out something, I would just throw my hands up and say, Jesus, I just can't figure it out.
Mm,
And, I went from that to being a whole lot smarter about it and saying, okay, who can I find that does know this stuff? Because that is not where your time is best spent. Technology is so cheap, so commoditized right now that, I talked to someone the other day that had their entire blog set up for $35. I mean,
wow.
that's just ridiculous. And, it's such, I let it beat me for so long, and it's just silly. It's just absolutely silly. So that was my biggest thing with online marketing. I mean, there were a lot of other areas that I didn't understand either, but I let technology beat me up pretty good for quite a long time.
Oh man. Yeah, I had an issue maybe like 2 months ago with trying to integrate a membership page with a plugin in WordPress, and I completely wiped out my blog. So
Yeah.
I was pretty frustrated, and yeah, but yeah, I mean it's just a learning process and not letting it beat you up, just like like you said. So what was your biggest aha moment in your business?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it's my biggest aha moment. I think probably actually when we went on, because I'm a guy, and I kind of talked about this last night on a webinar
Okay.
of I have sometimes in the past, I haven't always celebrated my successes.
Hmm.
Meaning, as soon as I have a success, it's on to the next one.
Hmm.
And it reminds me of, I saw an interview with Kobe Bryant, and they had just won the championships, and everyone around him's happy as it can be, and kissing the trophy, and blah, blah, blah. And someone asked Kobe, how do you feel? He goes, oh, I'm just excited for next year. And, that's an example of not celebrating your successes. Here he was, the minutes after winning the championship, already focused on the next thing. And
Hmm.
that's been me for almost all my life. And so I've learned to slow down and kind of recognize when I have major successes and celebrate them. And I would say the biggest aha moment for me was when we were my wife and I, when we got married last year. And I took her to we we went to Fiji for a honeymoon and spent about 12 days over there.
Very nice.
And number one, that was an aha moment because it's like, okay, I officially went from foreclosure to Fiji in 2 years, and
Wow.
pretty cool. But the
Yeah.
biggest aha was the cost of that trip was well more than what I made the entire year of 2009.
Wow.
A moment. So I went over there, all-inclusive vacation, spent half the time at Tony Robbins Resort, and then, went over to another place. It was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And again, tens and tens of thousands of dollars, very, very expensive. But the aha moment was, and I'll be honest, I was a little stressed because when you've lost a lot of money, you kind of get nervous spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
The aha moment was when I came back home and finally opened up my emails and everything, I realized that I made more money while I was there than I spent. Now that's powerful.
Very powerful.
What it made me realize is, okay, everyone should be in this industry, because who wouldn't want to travel the world and be paid more than they spend while in the most amazing places in the world? I mean, so it gave me renewed vigor, and it really opened up my eyes of where exactly I'd come from, dating, Jessica, to being married, to foreclosure, to Fiji, to being worried about expenses, to being paid more than I can possibly spend. It's just crazy. And so that all kind of encapsulated my biggest aha moment.
Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, there's tons of people out there who they want to get there, and it just takes massive action, just like you've taken throughout the years, and to get to that point, to come back home and actually see that these emails pouring in, and to have that experience, it just takes massive action.
Yeah.
So what was your biggest breakthrough when you started having success, maybe earlier on in your business?
Biggest breakthrough, I think, the realization of when I became the number one income earner in my company, that was a big breakthrough for me, because, I think I had struggled to see myself at that kind of level. I always thought I was good. I always thought that, I had talent and that I was focused and motivated.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen myself in that role, because when I started with my network marketing company, I wasn't the top income earner. I wasn't brought in as the master distributor. I was placed on the inside of an inside of an inside, and all four of my upline eventually quit.
Oh, wow.
There was another gentleman that was the top income earner for the first 6 months of our company. And so to overtake the, lack of support and spillover, et cetera, it just kind of was like, wow, man, this is really happening. I'm actually doing this. And, so that was pretty exciting.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, wow. I've seen you before. Years ago when you started, when you kind of started your network marketing business, I've heard of you, and I've heard a lot of people introducing you within your primary business, and I'm like, wow, who is this guy? And I started seeing videos. I'm like, oh, this guy, he's doing his thing. So I mean, ever since then, I've known that, and I know Adam Chandler as well. He's, I'm sure you know Adam Chandler. He's
Sure.
definitely, he speaks very highly of you, and all I've heard from people, anybody in the industry who's a leader or just up and coming, had nothing but great things to say about you and your leadership and your motivation and your relentless drive to get from point A to point B over and over and over again is definitely something that I admire. So yeah, it's again an honor to do this. And I wanted to ask you, what would be, there are a lot of people who they're just starting out in this industry. They're not really sure where to go in this industry, what to do, who to connect with. So what would be your best advice for a new person looking to get results in a home-based business?
I would say to constantly be looking in the mirror and find out and recognize any resistance points that you're attributing to being outside of you. And what I mean by that is, everyone has different acts, and they have different stories that they tell.
Mm-hmm.
such as, well, if my upline was better, or if only I was able to afford that, or if only I had a better car, or if only I could do this full time, and identify those resistance points and really expand them in your mind and really dive into them because they're all BS, every one of them. And
Exactly.
some people, their act is, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I'm just confused, which is another act, and it's another story, and it's also BS. So identify and maybe even write down, okay, here's in the past what I thought I didn't have or what I needed that I don't possess, and identify those points and address them head on, and really address them head on. People know what to do. They really do. It's talk to more people. It's say less to more people. Use the tools of whatever company that you're in, and you'll build a business. But you got to do that consistently. So it's not just about your why, which a lot of network marketing companies are kind of known for, telling you if your why doesn't make you cry, then it's not good enough. Well, here's my challenge with that. Your why has been the same for the last 10 companies that you've been with. Okay, it's been, I want to spend more time with my kids, or I want to travel the world, or I want to blah, 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 fill in the blank, which are all great. They're all fantastic. They're all worthy. They're all the right thing. But a why won't drive you to daily action. At least that's been my experience. And so you need to focus on who you want to be. I wanted to be a top international trainer, best-selling author. I wanted to be all those things. And so when you decide what version of yourself that you want to be or you want to create, you will start having that commitment to taking the actions. And it's not just about what's going to happen if you don't take action, because that does help, but you really have to buy into a new version of you. And if you look at people who have, lost massive amounts of weight, or people who have overcome amazing physical challenges, it's because they bought into a new version of themselves, and they drove themselves to become that new version. And so, rid of the excuses, because there is none. There's going to be people that are, that are crippled, that were abused as kids, that are dead broke, that are going to have more success than you or I. That's just reality. There's going to be people wheelchair themselves past you. And it's no excuses. You either succeed or you don't. And so identify what excuses you currently hold in your mind, and let's just get rid of them because they're not serving you. And then you decide upon what is that new version of you that you're going to sell out to, that you're going to burn the ships, that you're going to cut the ropes, that you're going to buy totally into and not give a damn about anyone else that speaks against that new version of you. And that's what you commit to.
Wow. That is very powerful. That struck a chord with me, and I read a book. Mike Dillard recommended it, Psycho-Cybernetics. Not sure if you've read it before.
I've heard of it. I haven't actually read it. It's one of those I need to read.
Yes, it's very powerful, and it's a I forgot the author. It's a doctor, but they talk about what it is that holds us back from being successful. What it is that even in academics, when you're in school, why does this student get A's and you don't? What is it in your mind that's really that mental blockage? We're more receptive to negativity than positive feedback, because we automatically think there's something wrong with us, whether it is in one aspect or one area or another. If someone says, "Oh, you didn't do this too good," our whole world just changes, and oh man, I'm going to be horrible over here next time when I try to do it. So that definitely it's a reality what you just mentioned, and I believe where that's where the excuses come from. We've probably visited that area before, maybe weren't successful at it immediately, and since that instant gratification effect comes into us as well, if we don't get things right the first time, then we're never going to do it again. Then we kind of throw in the towel. And there's a quote in there, and I don't want to quote it word by word, but I just read it the other day, and it just stuck with me for a couple of days. It's like you mentioned, with people losing weight, people being healthier again, people from all walks of life being successful. You don't become successful until you actually believe it true already. You don't
Right.
lose weight. You don't gain anything that you want in life until you believe it already, or you see it true before it even happens. So that's definitely a very very good point that you just made. And last but not least, Ray, I want people to know where they can find your material, where they can find your blog, anything that you have available for them to help them in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I blog almost every day, 5 to 7 times a week on rayhigdon.com. That's RayHigdon.com. And you can check that out. I write articles on marketing, blogging, recruiting, prospecting, all based around the home-based business network marketing niche. That is where we get a lot of traffic, and you can find out more information about me and get trained at the same time over at rayhagen.com.
All right, that sounds great. I mean, you guys heard the man himself, rayhigdon.com. Again, he gets over 2 million people a month reading his material. That means it's top notch. And what you guys have heard already in this interview, I'm sure resonates with you. It resonated with me. This is very, very powerful stuff. Thank you, Ray Higdon, for taking the time to do this again. And
Sure.
absolutely. So yeah, I mean I'm definitely going to be and I already do read your material and I hope everybody else really takes advantage of this opportunity. Just go on to the website rayhigdon.com and find out whatever it is that he's doing. So thank you again, my man.
You got it, my friend. Anytime.
All right, see ya.